This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Good morning. I'm Deb Goodrich. Welcome to Around Kansas. Got my pretty coffee cup. Isn't that a pretty antique coffee cup? Got my pretty coffee cup this morning and just enjoying spring. And I hope that you are too, wherever you are. I know a lot of us are disappointed because so many of our favorite events have been canceled this year. Mountain Plains Art Fair comes to mind. That's one of my favorite events all year long. Happens every 1st of June, except for this year, and the people that work so hard to put it on. So let's try to find some other ways to support our artists and musicians, our farmers and ranchers, all our small business owners, and maybe go online and buy something from them. Just find some way that we can support them. So I know that many of you, like myself, have taken advantage of maybe a little more time confined with nowhere to go to binge watch television. And maybe you were binge watching on The Tiger King. Yes, I will admit that I did. And I will also admit that I almost never buy People magazine. In fact, I can't think of another People magazine I have ever purchased. And I bought this one just because Joe Exotic was on the cover and this headline. What happened to Carol Baskin's husband? What did happen to Carol Baskin's husband? Okay, so The Tiger King, like one friend said, is sort of like Dynasty, except in a trailer park. And it's like watching a train wreck that you can't turn away from. It does have some redeeming qualities, and I do believe it is really a morality tale. And the moral of this story, people, is don't believe your own press releases, because you have some people who apparently started out with good intentions, and then they start believing their own BS, and that doesn't take you down a good path. So I think that's sort of the moral of the story. But why I bring this up today is Joe Exotic has some very interesting Kansas connections. And I found a very interesting article that talks about the connection between Catherine the Great and Joe Schreivogel. Yes, his real name is Schreivogel. The Volgadeutsch. So Joe's family, his ancestors, were some of those German Russians who came to Kansas. And you remember Catherine the Great had invited those Germans into Russia, farm and be good citizens and all that good stuff, and we'll never bother you. Didn't quite work out that way. So a lot of those folks of German then Russian descent wind up in central to western Kansas. Joe was actually born in Garden City, but his ancestors, according to this story, settled in Munger. So there are a lot of good folks in Munger. I have not asked how they feel about The Tiger King and its success. Its viral popularity all over the country. But, after you watch the show, if you do, I have to say Joe may be close to the most normal person on it. It really is. It's pretty interesting. So, with what few brain cells I have left after having watched the season of The Tiger King, I'm going to bring you a really great show. So stay with us.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.